Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lisa Ware, tackling a subject that I must be mad to try and make this as simple as possible, when in fact it's not a simple subject, okay? But I am going to endeavour to actually help everybody understand how to make it easier and to help customers produce the things we need to get simple quotes faster. Okay. Please keep on mute because I've got so much that I need to do. Okay. In fact, I'm just going to make sure that, yes, it's all happening, because I know some people come in and they unmute themselves and I need them not to. Right. So first of all, I've been doing this business now over 20 years, and there aren't many things that I've not seen. So there's quite a lot of stuff I have seen, and we can certainly help an awful lot of people. And just before I get going, I'm going to make a blanket statement. Justin Bazzino has said, if you get any queries regarding this latest government ruse about getting a bit of discount between 4 and 7 p.m. It's actually, I think it's about 4 and 6:30 to be precise. Just say to them, it's we're not going down that road because we offer overall savings far superior. And in fact, I was listening to Mr. Jeremy Vile on Radio 2, and it was all about that earlier on. And there were people ringing in and saying that they've been part of this trial scheme for about a year. One lady said she's earned all of 34 pence. I don't think we'll go down that road, and I'm really proud to say Utility Warehouse are not going into that. Okay, so let's talk about bills. Okay, so we've got an appointment, and it may be via Zoom, it could be face to face. But the one thing that we need is, if possible, accurate information. To be able to do what I call an apples for apples comparison, you can't just deal with guess figures, because they become guesstimates. We call them estimates, but they're not. They're just guesstimates, aren't they? And what we want to do is justice to helping somebody truly and giving them figures that matter. And so we want the right kind of bill. So first of all, there's going to be a lot of screen sharing. So I'm probably not going to see you, and I'm just going to go through different things. I'm going to go through the really easy stuff first. Okay, really easy. And say to you, when it comes to things like landline phones, broadband, and mobiles, generally speaking, in fact, this is a good thing to note down, all we need is how much do they pay each month, and when is their contract up for renewal? All right, it's that easy. Because if you've got those two items, you can easily work out what an early termination fee would be, because it's generally the number of monthly rentals times the number of months to the end of the contract. Sometimes it's a little bit less than. It can be surprising. For example, with Sky do 18 months term broadband landline phone contracts, and their most expensive contract is 165 to get out of. And that's if they've only just started it. So we can always help them, especially as UW now are just doing wonderful things. I can't believe they're giving up to £400 to pay off early termination fees. This really means we do not have to wait to the end, do we? We can actually help people leave poorer service and higher prices much sooner with that. So let's take a look at a typical bill. Let's have a look at a landline and broadband bill. And as they say in good old Generation Game, I don't know if people remember the Generation Game, but one I produced earlier. Now, I have spent a lot of time scribbling out important details like names and addresses, okay, because these are real bills of real people. And first of all, this is an EE, please note, final bill. Okay. Now, whatever that is doesn't mean that that's the early termination charge. And that's the things we've got to look for. And these bills at first glance can be really, really confusing. But actually, you're looking for specific words. You're looking for early termination fee, early contract exit, contract breakage fees, a whole manner of words that basically says that they have terminated their contract early. So let's have a look through this bill. And I find it very interesting the way that the bill's kind of like this sort of stuff. I don't know, I would expect this to be on the last page, but it's not, it's the second page. So no wonder customers are confused, all right? I really don't blame them. So here's page 3. And it's saying that the service stopped on the 16th of Jan. Okay. So, and there it is, I've highlighted it. There it is, one-off charges. And it actually says early cancellation charge. And that one's £189.01. And that's for obviously breaking the broadband. Now, going with it, all right, I'm now going to show you for the same person mobiles, and it was 2 mobiles. And please note, this £400 is absolutely astonishing how we can help folk, because once upon a time, that 189 just for the broadband, that would have been done. But actually, we've been able to help this particular customer by actually cancelling 2 mobiles too. So now we're looking at a mobile bill with EE. And it says the final bill is 172.82. Let's take a look. Now, there is a clue here. Extra charges. Okay, so as we scroll down, and there we are, do this, all this stuff on the second page, and now we get to the third page. Now I've cancelled out names, but I want you to see there were 2 different mobiles. Okay, so please don't see the mobile numbers. Okay, but please know that what we've got here is 179.96, and this one sort of says a credit. So let's carry on down. There we go. Now we get to it. Now, isn't this interesting? Because you could have thought it was that, but actually here it is, remaining contract charge, a one-off, and in fact it's more than, it's 199.63. So how wonderful. We've been able to help a lady with 2 mobiles and her broadband, and we're still just under that £400. Isn't that great? And wouldn't you say how confusing that bill is? Because at first glance, you would have thought, oh, well, it's 172.82. No, it's not. It's actually more than. And that's the bill that is claimed for. So we want the total bill, right? Broadband mobiles. We need to see that first page with their name and address. We need to see the page when it's a mobile that actually quotes the numbers they're switching. This makes sense, doesn't it? And we need to see where it says early termination or remaining contract charge. Those are the things we need to see. So that's why we ask for itemized bills. Okay, if we just go back to the broadband one, note that there, and then the first page clearly represents who we're talking about. All right, now I'm going to show you a bad bill. Okay, somebody who sent this in, and it's a plus net, and this is to end a broadband service. And I want you to look that this is an interesting bill because there's lots of stuff here. Okay, couple of broadbands. It looks like 2 fibres, 2 line rentals. It's not, it's all one. It's just one. I mean, I would love to know how any customer is meant to understand this. Okay, and if we carry on down, we're looking at things. But can you see anywhere at all where it says early cancellation fee? This is a final bill. No, there's nothing. There's not a sausage. That is it. And I had to send that back to them and say, I'm ever so sorry, but we can't do anything. There is nothing to prove what the early termination fee is. So I thought it was worth showing that. Okay. So what we've looked at is broadband, we've looked at mobiles. Now, there are lots of different mobile bills. They're all slightly different, okay, but they are generally, they do say things like one-off charge, early exit fee, right? They're simple. So what we need to do with folk is find out, what do they pay each month? When is their contract up for renewal? And then when we switch them, we're after this information. And now we're going to go to something really complicated. And I'm going to make it simple. And it's called energy. Energy. So let's just go to one I've set up earlier. So I'm live, so I'm going to get a feedback form about this, but this is actually, I filled it in for me, okay? And the reason I've got to this on the Join the Club site is the information we're after. Are they gas and electric? Are they electric only? Are they gas only? Do they have, where electricity is concerned, a standard type meter, or are they economy 7? How do they pay for the energy? Most people are direct debit. We don't want people on prepay, and we certainly don't want people on prepay that don't wish to switch to prepay. The only people I ever switch on prepay are those that are generally homeowners who have very sadly inherited prepay meters and wish to go to direct debit. So what I would do is still click this one, even though they're prepaid, because I'm going to quote them what we would charge by direct debit. And then there'll be a covering email that I'll send up to explain what's going on. And then I don't do this low. You know, this is guesstimate stuff, because if you can read the little box, folk, figures based on national averages. For a more accurate quote, use your real usage from a recent bill. That's what we're looking for. This is based, you know, this could be so out on a one bedroom. Well, it could be a little old lady living on her own, and she's got one of those electric bars and she's got it on 24/7 because she's cold. She could use an awful lot more than that. It could be somebody that's hardly ever there and doesn't even use that. So this is really kind of like shooting in the dark stuff. So what we always want to try and do is have a real bill and go here, enter known usage, and we're going to put stuff in. If you do have somebody economy 7, and I'll click that, please note that what happens, it asks for the annual daily electric usage and the annual nightly electric usage. And then there's the gas. All right, so this is the stuff that will make the difference. Now, most people will want to pay budget plan, where you take the whole year's usage, you divide that usage into 12 equal monthly amounts, and then the UW prices are applied, and it comes out with a payment, and it allows for seasonal fluctuations. Now, if you can see my hands, if this was January and this was December, the graph generally looks like that in usage. Not much in the middle in the summer months that's used, but lots in the winter time. But it doesn't matter, because when they do budget plan, it evens out the monthly payment to allow for those seasonal fluctuations. And to be honest, it does what it says on the tin. It means you can budget. So it makes good sense. Now, some people, however, are control freaks. I'm going to say it the way it is. And they don't like the idea of that. They think it's much better to pay exactly for what they've just used the month before, and they choose monthly in arrears. Now, it'll come over with an overall price, but what it means is they will pay very little in the summer, but they'll have very large bills in the winter to reflect their winter usage. All right, but we want to encourage this. So that's explaining the site. Now,
Lisa, it's Ian.
I'm trying to keep everybody on mute because I've got a lot to get through. If you could send me questions in the chat, I will answer them. Okay. So let's have a look at a bill. Let's have a look at a dual fuel bill. Here's a company called Green. Okay. Well, actually, it's not dual fuel. It's actually electricity only. And Green, by the way, I hope everyone is aware that green energy is generally electricity. It is not gas. And I can see that Mr. Farwell needs to wake up. I don't know if he just heard that, but I think he's nodded off. So what we're now looking at is a green bill. Let's look for the things we need. We need two figures. We need what's called the annual kilowatt consumption and the personal projection, a forecast of all the cost of all the units for the next 12 months at the price that it is now, based on the consumption of a year that's been. They can't do anything else. If you really think about this, they can't project the usage in advance. They can only go on what's been, but they apply the price now, and that gives the personal projection. So let's see if we can find it, because, you know, all this stuff looks so confusing for customers, and who can blame them? But let's, here it is, guys. Not that bit there, we'll come back to that. Here we are. Annual consumption. So it was 9,862. Okay. And the estimated annual cost was 1,497. Please note, okay, that there was an exit fee at that point of £36. So those are the two figures we want, because those are the figures we want to put into the system. 9862, okay, that's what we want. There's the electric. Now there's something else I've highlighted, and that is on the electric, there is the important supply number. And I want you to notice the bottom line of numbers is also here. And that's known as the MPAN, meter point administration number, which is different to the meter serial number, which is on the actual meter itself. The two need to correspond on the National Electricity Database, known as ECOS, and when they do, we know we've got the right meter at the right property. Okay, so here's the stuff that we're after. Really important. Right, let's move over to a British gas bill. I'm going to say this, British gas may be expensive, but they are actually excellent at their billing. They're really good. On the front page, everything we want to know is there. Look. So there's no end date. So there's no exit fees because it's a variable tariff for gas and electric. And then look, everything is there to be seen. The estimated annual usage on gas, and then the estimated annual cost, and the same for electric. What a superb bill. The rest of it, do you know, in a way, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter because we've got what we need. There is that supply number again. And then with gas, it's called an MPRN, which is a meter point reference number, as opposed to an MPAN. All right, those things are important. But please note, British Gas, don't worry about all these pages. Don't need to worry. Here it is. That's the information you want. A brilliant bill. Okay. Now let's look at Eon. I picked this one up. It's another good bill. Let's have a look through. Lots of information. Gosh, you know, I do feel for people because this must be so confusing for them. But here we go. Your personal projections, written slightly differently. So the gas for the next 12 months is that, and the electric's that. It's telling them that they could save by switching at that point to another one of their tariffs. So they didn't choose the best tariff, did they? The information is there, but I think the bills are so confusing that people probably don't see it. And then here's the other information, the most important information we're after, the annual kilowatt consumption, sometimes known as estimated use in the last 12 months. So there is the electric and there is the gas. We have everything that we need. Another really good bill. Now let's look at a Shell bill. Okay. Now this is interesting. I want you to notice the date. It's only late last year. And I can tell you, I know this personally. It's a 3-bedroom house with 4 occupants. And I'm going to say to you, £384 for electric. Do you know that rings alarm bells? It wasn't right. There's something wrong with the meter. I don't think they were feeding it outside somewhere else, but I knew that was wrong. Okay, the gas was correct. And then here's the information. Anyone in this business a while will know that 4 people in a 3-bedroom house in a whole year could not use 647 kilowatts. And I had to emphasize to that person, there is no way that's correct, but this person was adamant to switch over, wanted to get on and do it, said they couldn't get hold of Shell to speak to, so they wanted to switch. But I said, well, a meter reading would need to be taken on the last day of the month for the first few months, and let's see what you're really using. Okay, so little things that we can do. And that was still quite low for gas, but some people don't put their heating on, as I well know. All right, so there's another bill, but it does say everything. Right, let's have a look at another one. Now we're looking at EDF, an EDF bill. Okay, let's go through this. Lots of information. I'm going to point something out here for you all to see, because it could be confusing. Let's look at electric. It says 28th of Feb to the 31st of March. A reading to a reading, that's the kilowatts used, times 19.69 pence. And then the 1st of April to the 31st of August, some more readings, more usage at 27.10. That's because prices went up, guys. Yeah, prices went up from the 1st of April. Do we all remember that? They actually went up, I think it was 54% it went up. And then 1st of October, it was 26.8, right? This was all government induced. But you see, this is why we don't look at this stuff, because it's irrelevant. Because what matters is the price now. Same with the gas. So all this is irrelevant. There's the information about the meters themselves. We will get there. Here, guys, here it is. Electricity, variable. No exit fee. Variable does mean there's no end date. And here we go. This is the bit we're after. Annual consumption. And there's the gas. Annual consumption. Now, I'm going to say this is not a brilliant bill because there's something vital missing. And do you know what that is? It's the personal projection forecast. This is actually a non-compliant bill. It may have this, but there is no personal projection. So what do? The best thing ever is ring up the company and say, look, you've given me the annual consumption. Please, can you now tell me what the personal projection is? Now, I know how to do this, but we shouldn't. And that is you times that by the number of units that whatever their current price is, you times it by this. But we shouldn't be doing that stuff. No way should customers or anyone be doing that. The best thing is get hold of the company. Okay, so I wanted to show that bill because actually it wasn't fully compliant. And please note, many of these companies these days, please note, there's no telephone number. Contact a live chat advisor. Chat. No, that's texting, isn't it? It just makes you laugh, doesn't it? Right, let's have a look at another bill. Scottish Power. Okay. So let's have a look. We've got August 2022. So we've got prices. And we've got here day and night readings because it's an economy 7. So look, folk, here we are. Your estimated annual cost, there we are, personal projection is 2,556 for electric. That's the cost, what it costs now, times, and we're looking now for that annual kilowatt consumption. And great, there it is. Now, please make notes. This is really important, and I've brought this up on purpose. I want you to look, where's most of the annual units being used? In the day, not at night. Economy 7 is based that you get a cheaper rate at night between midnight and 7. So this is going against that customer. So this is why I'm doing it. Please note, we're talking 4 times more as used in the day. This means this person should really be on what's called a 1 rate, general domestic. So I'm now going to go back to, can you all see somebody, Val, just put your hand up. Can you see the JTC? Wonderful. So you see economy 7, for something like this, you press the standard. So you only have the 1, and this is electric only. Enter known usage. You now add, and I'm going to go back if I can find the right one. No, it wasn't that. Wasn't that? It's that one. Was it that one? That one. So what you do is you add the 6504 plus the 618 together, and that's what you put in there. You cover it with a note. You do it, you send it off, and then you send up an email and say, although this is an economy 7 meter, they do not use night storage heating. So they are not making good use. They're using 4 or 5 times more during the day. They are going to save a lot of money. And when you follow that quote through, it will be absolutely fantastic, the savings. Okay. So hopefully I've emphasized that. Okay, that's a good bill, a good Scottish Power bill. We've got the personal projection and everything else doesn't really matter. Let's have a look at another bill. Now, this is another Scottish Power bill. Okay. But I want you to, oh no, I've just done that one, haven't I? This one. Apologies, folks. Right, this is another Scottish Power bill that's not compliant. Your personal projection is currently unavailable. Why? How odd. There is the consumption. Okay, we've got the consumption, but we haven't got the personal projection. It's standard online, no end date, it's variable, that means. Do you know what? We need to know what's the cost. Again, it's a ring them up and find out. Oh, do we have, oh, we have a telephone number. That's good. And then you fingers crossed that you get through. Okay. So now let's look at another bill. OVO. Okay. OVO have taken over SSE, Scottish and Southern Electric. They've bought them out. I'm going to say this now. I'm actually talking to Justin Bazzino because I have discovered 5 different bills the last couple of weeks. OVO, they are 100% non-compliant. We could be talking fines here, big fines to OVO. We're looking for 2 figures, the annual kilowatt consumption and the projected forecast. I have scoured these bills. It's variable rate. There are some prices, but there is no annual kilowatt consumption. And there is no personal projection forecast. In fact, you cannot do a comparison. You can't do one. Isn't that interesting? Do you think that's well, I find it a bit fascinating because, like, I don't think they don't know. So I'm actually reporting OVO. I'm doing an email up for Justin. So there we go. That's that one. Okay, now I'm now going to end this with how brilliant utility warehouse billing is. So this is mine, my place. Okay, this was my November bill. Now that's by the way, we do have LPG gas. We're off mains, so this is electric only. The gas is obviously for heating. Mobile, fibre broadband and phone, and 2 insurances, buildings and contents, plus boiler with home cover. £2 for the cashback card account, okay, that 2 people can have access to. The whole lot, 131 cashback earnings. Crazy, crazy. Only £95.65. Let's have a look at the electric. So, total charge is £90. Back then, do you remember there were 2 payments of 66 from the government? That was October, November, and then it went 67. So this payment was 24, not because we only pay 24. It was the Energy Bill Support Scheme. But I want to show everyone how great our billing is. So the budget plan has been set at £90. The electricity balance from last month was already in credit because actually we've been overpaying, and that's correct. During the summer, you should accrue a credit. That's how budget plan works, ready for the high winter usage. Electricity charges this month. Please know I did give a reading. I was a good girl, okay, which brought it up to date. And by the way, we don't have a smart meter. We're in what's called a sleeping region, means that evidently we can't have one, which actually is, you know, it's fine. All right, I'm happy giving a reading. So electricity this month. So that's what we've used. There we are. So even though with the payment and then the government's, we are now 118.17 credit. But I want to show you the things that matter. So here's the personal projection. It's all there to be seen. Here's the consumption over the last 12 months. Double gold, no end date. It's variable. Everything we want is all easily readable. Very, very simple. Now I'm going to bring you up to date with my January bill, because I think this is also a really good thing for people to see. This is my bill again. So now it looks really silly because now we're £2.97 in credit on the electric. Everything else is the same. And I'll show you why. Because anyone that knows, we moved here in March 2021. And so we have what we call our review. And the review happened, and it's been decided by head office that the £90 we've been paying is actually far too much for our actual usage. So there's the government support scheme. So that's why we've ended up with the new payments. And we're now in credit. And then it's all on here. So the personal projection, less kilowatts than was anticipated. That's why. And we are still £91.16 in credit. And then the rest of the bill, as you probably know, there's the mobile. Here's our fibre broadband and phone. Here's our boiler cover. And if you didn't know it, guys, it is a UK market leading product. It beats everything else out there. And then I have very high home insurance. If I didn't have 5 Ronnie Wood pieces of artwork, it would be about 20 quid. But I've got 5 pieces of artwork on high risk. But I tell people that. And then here's the fabulous cashback. Don't we just love the cashback? There we are, Holland and Barrett, 7%. Look at that. Don't we just love it? And then all these bits and bobs. Yeah, all this stuff. It's great. It's all good stuff, folks. So I'll stop the share. Questions? Unmute, because we've gone a little bit over, but it's been anyone got a really important question that can help everybody? Oh, I must unmute you. Hang on. Okay, I think you can unmute yourselves now. Anyone with a question? Did Ian have a question?
No, it's okay. That was more just a statement.
Has it been answered with what I've done?
No, it's just you were suggesting everyone should go in budget. When I got my new flat and moved into it, the budget quote from UW was 60 or 70% higher than what I was expecting to pay. So I made a decision
you moved into a new place, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, because you don't know what you're going to spend. Yeah, absolutely. So what they do, Ian, they base it on the national average, which we talked about, which isn't always applicable. So yes, you could go monthly in arrears, but you've got to warn people when they do it. If they don't give meter readings, all right, they could accrue a huge debt, and we don't want them to do that. All right. That's the main reason that budget plan is good, because as it says, you can budget. Anybody else got a question? Did that make sense, and did it simplify stuff about the 2 figures we're after, annual kilowatt consumption and personal projection, and everything else on that bill really, really is of irrelevance?
Can I make another point, Lisa?
Yeah.
I'm working with a potential customer. I've been waiting on their mobile contracts to finish.
Yeah.
But they went from prepayment meters to the smart meters with British Gas, because British Gas could make the move quicker than we could. But they've really been shafted, is a polite way of saying it, by British Gas because of their internal policies. You know, they moved over in October. They were given one small bill, and then they didn't pay anything, and they've just received a bill in January that's £1,100 for 3 months because they've not paid anything monthly. So if anyone else is looking at stuff like that, make sure they know that the best thing they can do is to give meter, well, it's a smart meter, so the readings are accurate, but that they're paying something towards a bill so they don't get caught out like this.
And do you know what, Ian? You know, something you've just said there is logical. You know, if you don't pay anything towards your bills, you're going to get a big bill.
Yep.
You've got to pay at least something, haven't you? So when customers say they've been shafted, actually, I'm not sure. I'd say, you know what? Did they not think they should pay something?
Well, I've been talking to them like once a fortnight, you know, while this has been going on. And they were having problems with the £67, and British Gas kept telling them they were in credit by 370 odd pounds until this bill came through. So British Gas's own internal policies is really confusing the customer.
Right.
So they've gone from being owed 370 to now owing £1,100.
Yeah. I would say even more reason to come over to us, because I will say our billing is very, very good. Very, very good. Yeah, I've just
Well,
been
they're
to
trying really hard to make it happen now,
yeah.
to come to us, to come to me.
They can do a payment plan back, which should not affect them transferring over to their original company. For as long as it's taken them to build that debt, they can take a certain amount of months. I think they can be up to 36 months.
Okay.
So depends on the situation, but I'm sure Lisa can fill you in on the grey areas on that.
Just a quick one on energy. Something I want to say to you all. If you come across anybody on what we call it's an old tariff called Economy 10. And Economy 10 is where you have 3 rates. You have a day, you have an afternoon, and you have a night rate. Now, there is a block of flats in Bournemouth that I met a couple some years ago, and as soon as I switched them, I saved them a fortune on that electricity. There's no gas there, it's just all electric. It was Economy 10. I've now switched about 15 of the flats, all right, because the words got around through this lady. It's really, really good with UW, because basically all we do, they don't have night storage heating in there. So this Economy 10 is absolutely worthless to them, totally worthless. So all of them, all I do is put them straight on our general domestic 1 rate, and they understand they still have to give the 3 rates, all right, but they get charged the 1. And of course, overall, they're so much better off, all right, because they've just got ordinary sort of electric heating, and most people will put their heating on, won't they, during the day, not at night. So that's another thing. So if you find someone with Economy 10, grab them. You're going to save them lots and lots of money. Guys, I better end it there. And just to say to you all, next week, I'm in the Maldives on the UW holiday. There will be no coaching. It will, well, I wondered if somebody wanted to actually take over and would like to volunteer to do a coaching, maybe Annette, I don't know. We could have a chat afterwards, but it's actually a whole 2 weeks. We don't get back until Wednesday, the 8th. So I'm missing the next Tuesday as well, which there's nothing I can do about it. And I'm sure you don't mind that I'm away for that. So guys, listen, thank you very much. I hope that was helpful, and the recording will be going out. Take care. Bye-bye.